okay. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to make sure everything is correct. If you are watching this on the Facebook page of Your Move Guide, there is a slight delay and I will try and see your questions, but if you've got questions and you're watching on Personnel Relocations, I should be able to see those questions come up, and I look forward to chatting to you and hearing about some of your questions. I'm Robyn Vogels. I'm from Personnel Relocations. I'm the company owner, and I've been welcoming families to Australia for 12 years now. Done various international moves myself and helped many other families. So I'm hoping today will give you some good guidelines, some tips, some tricks and information. And as I say, if you've got any comments or questions, please go ahead. I am new to this, so please bear with me. I have got a bit of a script, so I don't forget all the good information that I want to share with you. So I apologize in advance if I scan my script every now and again, but you know, it is just here to give you some help and advice along the way. Moving internationally is a very expensive journey, and none of us like to do it more than once, although I've done it a number of times. But I'm really here to just teach you some of the tricks that I've learned along the way and things that I've learned from other people, common mistakes that people make. So I thought while we're waiting for some people to join in, I'll just tell you a quick little story. I was trying to find, I've got lots of stories of people, you know, who've done funny things over the years, and I will try and share one each month with the topic in mind. So the topic this month is budgeting for your move. And I was reminded about a family that arrived a couple of years ago. They'd come from South Africa, and in South Africa the post isn't generally very reliable. People aren't used to going down and checking their post box, and this particular family had been here, or probably been in their house about 3 weeks, and she phoned me and she said, "Robyn, I've been on the phone to the electricity company all day and they're telling me that they've sent me all my information, all my welcome packs and my invoices is in the mail. I've checked my emails and there's nothing." So I did have a little bit of a giggle with her and reminded her that we do get post in Australia and she can go and check her post box. Needless to say, there was quite a bit of mail sitting in her post box for the last 3 weeks. So yeah, budgeting is probably not something we can always laugh at, but I thought that was a story to share with you, that things in Australia do work. Maybe I can see there's a few people jumping online already. Perhaps you can just jump on the comments and tell us where you're watching from. It's always exciting for me to see where everybody's from. So do jump in and let me know where you're from, and perhaps I can even move the conversation into more relevant topics that might be relevant to you, to the city that you're coming from. So thank you for joining me again. For those that have just joined me, my name's Robyn Vogels. I'm the owner of Personnel Relocations. I'm also the co-author of Your DIY Move Guide to Australia, which is a book available on Amazon. It's been an Amazon bestseller, and we just updated the book in 2020, towards the end of 2020. So that's what the book looks like. Do look out for it on Amazon, and it's available across Europe, the United States, and if you are from South Africa, we actually have a book dedicated to South Africans. So the website for the book is yourmoveguide.com, and as I say, it's available across Amazon. Please, as I said, give me a few reactions. It helps me remember to breathe. And I'm just going to jump straight into it. So today's topic is talking about budgets, and what I'm going to talk about today is how you can save money. Everybody wants to save money on their move. It is an expensive journey, and it's hard to know who to trust, but it's also hard to make decisions that you're probably only going to have to make once in your lifetime, and make sure that you make the right decisions. So really trying to give you some tips on how to make those decisions and what to look out for. Don't get caught up by salespeople. Budgeting, there's a lot. Budgeting is a minefield, but I really want to go through some of the common mistakes people make when they first arrive, or things that they forget to include in their budget. So we'll discuss budget and common mistakes people make, because I'd be here all day if I went into everything you have to budget for. But yeah, it's really, this is created to help you make the right decisions, help you save money. And I can assure you that the tips that I'll be giving you today can save you probably literally thousands. And again, in the book, I go into a lot more detail with it. You also have the opportunity to book a consultation with me if you want me to go through your relocation plans, your timeline, or maybe just check your removals quotes. You can book a consultation with me directly. Okay, so let's start off, shall I say, with how to save money. So the first thing I would say with saving money is the timing of your move. Now, you might not realize it, but summer is the most expensive time to move. And if you're coming from the southern hemisphere to Australia, you are going to be moving in both countries during the summer. So your removalist quotes are always a lot higher. You must also know that removalists, although they might quote you on their move and say your goods will be at sea for 6 to 8 weeks, that's generally only the time that it's at sea. It's not the time getting down to the port, offloading on each port side. You really need to, depending on where you are coming from, obviously, check that with your removalists, because that extra 3 or 4 weeks that it might be, 2 weeks on either side at either port, that's going to add onto your costs, because the longer you're without your furniture, the more hidden costs you're going to have. You're going to have more accommodation costs, perhaps more temporary accommodation costs, more food costs, all sorts of things. So until you've got your own furniture, you're not back in your routine, and that's when you get hidden costs, and they mount up. So make sure you have a very accurate timing from your removalist. You don't just want the time that it's at sea, which is what once a vessel leaves, and once the vessel's at sea, it very rarely changes unless there's bad weather. So that's why removalists are always very keen to only give you those dates, because they can't control what happens in the ports. But once it's at sea, that's usually the timing that they'd quote you. So get an accurate time from them. And while we're talking about furniture removals, it's very hard for you to compare apples with apples. Okay, so what I always say to people with removalists is you can't compare an accredited removalist to a removalist that's not accredited. Now, an accredited removalist is a removals company that perhaps belongs to FIDI, F-I-D-I. I'm not going to say it because it's a long French word, but it's the Federation of International Movers. And the other one might be BAR, which is the British Association of Removalists. So there's a few accreditations that removalists can have, and that means that they have to maintain a certain level of standard and service. So you can't get 2 quotes and one is an accredited mover and one isn't, because accredited movers are going to be more expensive, but you've got that assurance with you that if you have a problem, you can go to BAR or you can go to FIDI and complain, and perhaps have them mediate on your behalf. So accredited removalists are safer, but they are going to be more expensive, and you shouldn't try and compare an accredited to an unaccredited removalists. Another thing on your removals quotes that I see people often perhaps don't realize, you get the quote and it's got all the packaging and pickups and everything that might be on there. What they don't include in your first quote in the overall total is the cost of your insurance. Okay, now your insurance should be anything between 2.5% and probably 3.5%, and it's based on the value that you place on your goods. Okay, so that total, if you go and place the replacement value of your household items at a few $1,000s, that's going to add a few $1,000s onto your end total. So when you're comparing removalists quotes, check that insurance, see what that percentage is, work out what your replacement value might be, and make sure you add that to your total, because that can make a very big difference. Check the excess on your insurance as well. That's another big one. Okay, really read that fine print on the excess. I will probably, not next month, but the month after, be having Jemima Burke on board with me to do the to discuss international removals. So we'll be discussing things that can impact the price of your removals quotes. You can't compare with other people. I see it online all the time. You know, I've got a 20-foot container, it's going from here to there. How much did it cost you? There's so many things that impact an international move. The distance from the port, the packaging, what you're actually moving. It's very, very hard for you to compare your quote with anybody else's. And while we're talking about insurance, I just wanted to mention jewelry. Make sure that you insure your jewelry. Do not, that is not ever covered under removals quotes or under removals insurance, especially if you're wearing the jewelry on your person, obviously. Make sure that you've included your jewelry in any travel costs or personal insurance that you are traveling with. Okay. Common mistakes in saving money is what we're discussing today. I also wanted to have a little bit of a chat about what to bring and what not to bring. And I think some of the biggest mistakes I see people bring, or not mistakes, but what they're considering is, as I say, what to bring and what not to bring. If you've got white goods that are over maybe 5 or, you know, yeah, I'd say probably over 5 years old, consider whether they're worth bringing or not, because they might only make it another year or two here and it's not worth it, and you could have replaced it for half the price of bringing it out and perhaps storing it here. So look at the age of your goods. If you're coming from the United States, are you going to need transformers? Because that's not sustainable on a long-term basis. So consider leaving all those white goods behind. And when I chat to Jemima later in the year, we'll also discuss what takes up space in your container. But just a basic heads up is look at bed sizes. Our bed sizes in Australia are quite unique sizes. Are they the same? Is your linen going to fit those beds? Will you need beds as soon as you arrive and want to replace them anyway? And mattresses and pillows don't have a long life, if you like, so will you be needing to replace them anyway? Things like bookcases. Bookcases take up space in your container and they can't take a lot of weight. They're very cheap to replace. So Jemima and I will talk a little bit more about those things when I have her on the line, but that gives you a few heads up. The last one that I wanted to talk about was children's car seats. Those are the car restraint seats. In Australia, our car seats are very unique. They have a strap that goes over the back of the seat. So it's very easy for anybody to see if you do not have a Australian Bureau of Standards approved car seat. So if you have little ones, leave the car seat at home. Just make sure that you've sorted something out on this side, either for your airport transfer or your car hire. Speaking of car hire with car seats, if you're going to be hiring a car for longer than 2 weeks, generally the price to hire a car seat in the car with the car hire company is $14 per day. If you're hiring for longer than 2 weeks, you can buy a car seat for less than that. Okay, so again, just you can buy it online, arrange an airport transfer with a car seat, and buy a car seat online and have it delivered to you rather. Okay, right, your first month, without stating the obvious, as I said earlier, there's a lot of hidden expenses, and I could be here all day just talking about what you need to budget, SIM cards, everything that you need to budget for your arrival. But I just wanted to go through some of the things that people often forget. So that could be those meals in the first week. Okay, and I'm not talking about your quarantine for those that are sitting in quarantine at the moment. Obviously, you're getting meals delivered to you, but the first week you're traveling around, you're looking at rental properties, you're going to eat lunch out. You might even be eating breakfast out, and you're probably going to get takeaways on the way home because you're so tired. Budget for that, okay? If you have enough time, you can do grocery shopping online, and there's other things that you can do to actually save yourself time and money, but I don't have time tonight to go through all that, unfortunately. But budget for those arrival costs, budget for having meals out, you know, even just lunch for a family of 4 with a few toasted sandwiches is probably going to set you back maybe $100. So you have those 5 days a week. That's $500 gone before you've even got over your jet lag. So that's a very common mistake people make. They're so busy, they're tired, they're on the run, need to eat, and end up just wasting a lot of money. School uniforms. If you listen to the video I did last month on children, remember to include those school uniforms, school books. If your children are going to a private school, you're looking at anywhere between $800 and $1,000 for their school uniform. If they're at a state school, you probably could get away with around about $300 to $400 maximum. There are secondhand school uniform shops with most schools, so always ask that question, okay? Because especially at private schools, the blazer they wear just to arrive at school, there's no need to spend $300 on a blazer, okay? So every school, state and private schools, all have secondhand shops. Some of them are online, Facebook buy and sell pages, so have a look for that. But definitely school uniforms, school shoes, school books. Travel cards. If you're going to be using public transport, you're going to need a travel card. The cost of the cards varies. In some states it's free. So the Opal card in Sydney is free. Here in Melbourne, the Myki card costs around $6.40 per person. It's cheaper for children. But you also need to think about the top up that you need for that card. So you're probably looking around $30 per person to add on to the card to top it up. A lot of people don't think about furniture rental, so I really wanted to bring your attention to furniture rental. If you're going to be staying in a short-term apartment or a hotel while you're house hunting, don't think that you need to stay in that for the full 5, 6, 10 weeks, whatever length of time it's taking for your furniture to arrive. You can rent furniture. So on average, a hotel might be costing you $1,500 a week. To rent furniture for, I would say family of 4, to rent furniture, you're probably looking at around $800. Okay, so it's a lot cheaper. There are delivery costs involved, and I probably wouldn't recommend furniture rental if you are going to need it for only 2 weeks. Just because of the delivery costs, it tips the balance of what's cheaper for you, a hotel or renting furniture. But renting furniture is a really good idea. You can get back to routine much quicker. Children can be enrolled in school. You're back to cooking your own meals, and you're not having any of those hidden costs anymore. So don't forget rental furniture. And of course, a relocation service. A relocation service like ours will have you skip hotels completely and have us holding your hand the whole way through your relocation, so that you know that you're making important decisions quickly and the right way around. So a relocation service like mine is cheaper than staying in a hotel, and we can even find a home for you before you arrive. I've had a client this week, arrived in quarantine on Tuesday. Today is Saturday. She already has her house. We're accepted on her house today. Applications in, monies are paid, all done. Much easier. By the time she comes out of quarantine, she can do her driving license and be ready to start work. So much easier way of doing things. And last but not least, don't forget that when you're renting in Australia, to commence the rental property, you need to pay 1 month's rent and 1 month's bond. So make sure that you have at least 8 and sometimes even 10 weeks bond available to secure your rental home. The rental market here moves very, very quickly, and you'll know that from our previous videos. You have to be organized very, very quickly. So thank you. Amon Skierpers from South Africa, Ashvia, Elma. Sorry, Elma, which one are you talking about? Cost per week, per month? Missed your question when it came up, I'm afraid, Elma. I think most of what I've been quoting has been per month. Maybe it was the rental. Anyway, jump back on, Elma, and tell me. Sorry, I missed your question there. If anybody else has any questions, please jump on the comments. If you are watching this on the Your Move Guide, I can't see the comments right now, but I will try and check them shortly. If you've got any questions on the Your Move Guide page, let me have a quick look. And okay, that's just busy loading. Yes, there is a question there. No, it's gone. Okay, all right. I'm sorry if you're on Your Move Guide and you can't see that. I can't see your questions at the moment. I know last time I saw some questions afterwards. Elma, thank you. Furniture rental, $800 per week as opposed to $1,500 approximately for a hotel. So short-term serviced apartments is what we call them here. So those would be self-catering type apartments. They can be anything from, for a family of 4, you definitely wouldn't, I doubt you'd get away with something comfortable under $200 a night for a 2-bedroom. So furniture rental does work out a lot cheaper for that. Any more questions on there? No, that's all good. Okay, I think we're all good. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, I will be giving away some free goodies at the end, so do stay in touch. Next month, I will be combining my Facebook Live video with Hendrika Juster. Hendrika is a certified master life coach, and we'll be talking, we're going to have some fun, I hope, but we're going to be talking about etiquette in Australia, some of the slang, some of the funny stories that we've come across. So Hendrika is also the co-author of Your DIY Move Guide, and we've got some good stories to share, and just some general etiquette and what's acceptable in Australia and how to navigate your way around. So if you're wondering about all those things, it's going to be a lot more light-hearted than talking about budget and finances, but do join us for that. If you found today's video helpful, please share it with others that might be on the migration journey so we can all help each other. It is a stressful time, and finding trustworthy information is very, very hard. For those of you that know me know that I like sharing, and I'm more than happy to put aside some time on my Saturday evening and share information with you if I know it's worthwhile. So please share that you know these videos are happening, so that other people can have a less stressful relocation as well. All right, so I just wanted to remind you that on our website we have free downloads. There's 2 downloads on there. One is a very comprehensive relocation checklist. So that's a relocation checklist that's not like one you'll get from the removalists that are bulk standard: cancel your bills, return your library books. I mean, who has library books these days? And I still see that on checklists. It's incredible. Anyway, so we have a really comprehensive relocation checklist, and we also have a cost of living. So cost of living fact sheet that I've got on there will really help you work out your cost of living for your family. It's not prescriptive. It's cost of living is always a difficult thing because it is based on your lifestyle and your choices and what you're used to and your standard of living. So the one that I've compiled on our website is a cost of living that you can work out for your family. So do download those, which brings us on to the freebies and the giveaways. So there was, for this month, I thought I would give away 2 free consultations. So that's going to work in 2 different ways. So for anybody who books a consultation with me in the next week, goes into a draw for the chance to have that free. And the second option is for anybody in the next week who does get those free downloads and subscribes to our site, they will also go into a draw for a free consultation. So there's 2 available, okay, 2 up for grabs. In both instances, please follow the Personnel Relocations Facebook page to keep up to date on any changes, advances, and one thing for sure this week, there's new rental laws that have come in place in Victoria, so we'll be covering that a lot. Don't forget my book. If you haven't got all the information that you wanted to get today, or you want some more in-depth information, everything is in that book. It's 300 pages of literally brain dumps between Hendrika and I. So do get the book if nothing else. That'll help keep you up to date with everything that's happening and what you need to do and how you can customize your move. Thank you again for watching. Please share and tell people what you've learned. And I've been Robyn Vogels. It's been my pleasure to spend my evening with you. Thanks again for your time, and have a nice day further, or evening, depending where you are. Bye-bye.